Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, there are memories people desperately want to forget, yet they carve themselves into the mind like a scar that never fully heals. For Tien, the number 20 isn't just a simple digit. It represents 20 long, agonizing days and nights, 480 hours of fighting for her life in the cold, desolate wilderness. Just imagine a small, fragile girl suddenly ripped away from the civilized world and thrown into the depths of a dense forest. No food, no water, not a single light. The nightmare began when night fell. The cold of the mountains isn't like the chill of an air conditioner or a city winter. It's a biting frost that seeps right into the bone marrow, making every fiber of her body tremble. Hunger gnawed at her insides. What could she eat to survive? Strange wild vegetable sips of freezing creek water. But even more terrifying than the hunger and the cold was the fear. The fear of wild beasts, the fear of being abandoned, and the fear that she would lie forever in that unforgiving jungle, never to see the sunlight again, never to see Jack again. Even now, safely back in the arms of her loved ones, Tien hasn't fully escaped that phantom. There are nights she jolts awake, drenched in sweat, thinking she's still lying on the damp ground, covered in rotting leaves. The mental shock was so severe that sometimes the young girl's eyes still look vacant and panicked like a wounded fawn. But friends, heaven doesn't take everything away from anyone. Beside those dark memories, Tien is lucky to have a guiding light, Jack. To help his wife find her balance again, Jack decided to help Tien reintegrate into daily life. Today's video opens with the bustling scene of a year-end market. The vibrant colors of Tet flowers and the lively laughter of the crowds seem to be trying to chase away the gloom in Tien's heart. They stopped at a roadside tofu pudding stall, a rustic, simple dish that holds a sky full of childhood memories. The owner is a 74-year-old grandmother. At her age, she should be resting and enjoying time with her grandchildren. But no, her wrinkled hands speckled with age spots still nimbly scoop each layer of white tofu, pouring over it the sugar syrup fragrant with jasmine. This image struck a chord in Tien's sensitive heart. Holding the hot bowl of tofu, her eyes welled up, looking at the old woman. A feeling of self-pity and sorrow crept in. She compared herself to her. The grandmother, despite her age and frailty, still works hard and creates value every day. But what about her? After all the incidents, she felt so small, even useless. She hadn't done anything significant, hadn't helped anyone, and had even become a burden to others. Noticing his wife's pensive mood, Jack, being the sensitive man he is, immediately took her hand. He didn't offer empty platitudes. He looked deep into her eyes and said, "Don't overthink things." After surviving such a life and death ordeal, the fact that you are sitting here healthy beside me is already a miraculous effort. That sentence from Jack, my friends, was worth more than 1,000 tonics. It was like warm water, healing the cracks in Tien's soul. He didn't demand that she be strong. He validated her existence and acknowledged the pain she had overcome. Leaving the market, our story hits a new emotional peak when Jack takes Tien to a phone store. The goal was to buy her a new phone. But friends, the reason behind this lost phone is what truly shocks and enrages us. Tien's old phone wasn't dropped, nor was it broken. According to what Tien tearfully suspected and shared, It was Mother Tui, her former mother-in-law, who took it. How could a mother do that to her daughter-in-law? Stealing her child's only means of communication just to sell it for spending money. This detail feels like a knife to the viewer's heart, revealing a cruel, hidden corner of the harsh family relationship Tien has endured for so long. Greed blinded them, causing them to trample on family bonds. At the luxury store, Jack didn't hesitate to point at the latest iPhone 15. When the staff announced the price 30 million Vietnamese dong, Tien was stunned. Her eyes went wide in shock. 30 million dong for a girl who saves every penny, every bundle of vegetables. This was a massive fortune. She hurriedly waved her hands repeatedly, refusing, "No, honey, it's too expensive. I just need a cheap one that can make calls. It's such a waste." Tien's refusal wasn't an act. It was the genuine heartache of someone who knows the value of money. But Jack was different. He was determined. He secretly paid without giving her a chance to stop him. Why did Jack insist on buying the most expensive phone? Was it to show off his wealth? No, friends. Jack wanted the best one because he needed safety. He needed a phone with the best tracking, the longest battery life, and the strongest signal. Because he is afraid. He is terrified of losing contact with Tien. He fears the nightmare of her vanishing into the deep forest will happen again. To Jack, that 30 million was a cheap price to pay for peace of mind to ensure he can hear her voice at any moment. Holding the brand new phone in her hand, Tien's heart was still heavy with worry. Even though she had returned to civilization, the lingering effects of those 20 days in the jungle were still wreaking havoc on her small frame. Viewers couldn't help but feel a pang of sympathy hearing her confess, "I get headaches constantly, and my whole body feels itchy and uncomfortable. Sometimes I'm just sitting there and my nose starts bleeding out of nowhere." Her health was like a flickering lamp in the wind, unstable and fragile. Hearing these words, Jack's heart broke. He put aside all his busy work, determined to clear his schedule, to take her for a full medical checkup. To him, right now, no contract is as important as his wife's breath. But friends' physical pain can be treated with medicine, while emotional pain and feelings of inadequacy are much harder to cure. Tien admitted something that would tug at anyone's heartstrings. "I feel a bit inferior. You earn the money, you take care of everything. I can't do anything. I only know how to spend your money." In modern society, where money often measures value, financial dependence can become a terrible psychological burden. Tien doesn't want to be a leech. Her eyes sparkled as she spoke of her dream. "I want to work honey. I want to raise more chickens, grow more vegetables, or maybe we can open a small diner. I want to stand on my own 2 feet." It was a simple dream, but full of self-respect. She wanted to work, to feel useful, to feel worthy of Jack's love. And to close out today's emotional story, I want to share Jack's response, a statement that deserves to be a motto for men everywhere. Faced with his wife's insecurity, Jack didn't act condescending or offer empty platitudes. He gently pulled her into his arms and said, "You're so silly. Your life is already a part of mine. The money I make is to take care of you, of our family. We are one household. Why keep score of who earns more or less?" So they left the luxury phone store with the expensive iPhone in hand. But deep in Tien's heart, the real joy didn't lie in that lifeless piece of technology. Her joy lay in the connection between people. Jack's car rolled away from the noisy city, bringing them back to the peace of the village where simple, honest people were waiting. The next stop was Mom Loy's house. As soon as they stepped into the yard, they saw the familiar figure of Uncle Dung. Uncle Dung, a man with a face weathered by sun and wind, but with an incredibly gentle smile. He stood there like a sturdy, old tree, sheltering the village. The meeting between the three generations, Uncle Dung, Mom Loy, Jack, and Tien, took place in an incredibly warm atmosphere. Over a pot of steaming green tea, with smoke rising in curls, they reminisced about the stormy days that had just passed. Uncle Dung looked at Tien, his eyes full of both pity and admiration. This girl looks frail, but she's truly tough. 20 days and nights in the treacherous forest, starving like that, yet she resiliently survived to come back. I really admire you. Then he turned and patted Jack on the shoulder. And you, Jack, you suffered the most. Those days when Tien was missing. I saw you looking like a soulless body, wading through streams and crossing forests without knowing fatigue. It's true that adversity reveals true love. Those rustic words of encouragement made the atmosphere thick with emotion. But today, Uncle Dung and Mom Loy didn't just come to dwell on the past. They came to discuss a secret plan. A plan for the loneliest woman in this mountain hamlet, Aunt Bin. When mentioning Aunt Bin, everyone in the neighborhood feels sorry for her. She lives a solitary life in a small house at the end of the slope. Her husband died early, and her only daughter named Lone married far away, all the way overseas. They say children rely on fathers, the elderly rely on their children. But year-round Aunt Bin only has her dog and cat for company. Whenever Ted arrives, or the weather turns watching other families gather with their children and grandchildren, she just swallows her tears looking at her daughter's photo through a tiny phone screen, missing her desperately. Today is Aunt Bin's birthday, but perhaps even she had forgotten this day long ago. For a lonely elderly person, what meaning does a birthday have without loved ones nearby? Knowing this, Jack and Tien looked at each other. A silent understanding passed between them. They decided they had to do something. Tien, though not fully recovered, was unusually excited. Jack, let's throw a surprise birthday party for her. I want to see her smile. So the campaign began. First task, going to the market. The region was in the midst of a severe cold spell. The northeast monsoon was rushing in with bone-chilling cold. Jack and Tien hurried to the district market again, but this time they weren't buying things for themselves. They were looking for a warm coat. Tien meticulously flipped through each jacket. She felt the fabric and checked every stitch. This one is too thin, honey. Aunt Bin suffers from joint pain. She needs something really warm. Finally, they chose a plum-colored down jacket. Thick, lightweight, but it retained heat extremely well. Holding the coat, Tien smiled radiantly. She imagined Aunt Bin wearing it, surely feeling as warm as if she were being hugged by her own daughter. It wasn't just a piece of clothing. It was the heart of the young generation given to the elder. Returning to Aunt Bin's house while she was away, thanks to Mom Loy's distraction tactic, the small, cold kitchen suddenly glowed with fire. The preparation atmosphere was so lively. Tien, the girl who just yesterday felt useless, was now nimbly slicing meat and rolling spring rolls. Jack the city boy rolled up his sleeves clumsily, helping to stoke the fire and wash vegetables. The feast today wasn't about restaurant delicacies, but dishes steeped in the essence of the countryside and the mountains. Crispy fried spring rolls, Nimran golden brown filled with fragrant minced meat, wood ear mushrooms, and glass noodles. A plate of boiled chicken with lime leaves with glistening golden skin.
Awachi.
Glistening and rich, and especially the piping hot bamboo shoot and pork trotter stew, a Highland specialty with a pure sweet flavor you can't find anywhere else. The savory aroma of the food wafted through the neighborhood, chasing away the winter chill. Jack had thoughtfully prepared a beautiful birthday cake with flickering candles ready to go. Everything was set. Now, they just waited for the guest of honor. They killed the lights and hid in the corner, anxious and excited like kids waiting for their mom to come home from the market. Watching this, I'm sure you can feel a warmth spreading in your hearts. Happiness is sometimes so simple, just cooking a meal together and creating joy for someone else. The door creaked open. Aunt Bin stepped in, shaking off her frost-covered conical hat. Whoosh! The candles flared up. Voices sang out in unison. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Aunt Bin. Aunt Bin was stunned. She dropped the cloth bag she was holding. She stood rooted to the spot, her old eyes wide with disbelief. How long had it been? 10 years, 20 years? Ever since Lone got married, this house had never seen candlelight, laughter, or such a full gathering. Jack stepped forward, draping the brand new down jacket over her shoulders. This is our gift to you. It's cold, wear this to stay warm. You need to stay healthy and be with us for a long time. The warmth from the coat and the warmth of human kindness made Aunt Bin burst into tears. Tears rolled down her wrinkled cheeks. She stammered, "Today, you all remembered my birthday. I'm so old. What's the point of birthdays? Thank you, kids. Thank you, everyone." But friends, the emotional peak didn't stop there. The biggest gift Jack had for Aunt Bin wasn't the coat, nor the feast. Jack pulled out his new phone and started a video call. On the screen appeared the face of lone Aunt Bin's daughter from the faraway west. "Mom, happy birthday." Lone's voice choked up over the speakerphone. The moment mother and daughter saw each other on the screen, the whole room seemed to break down. Aunt Bin hugged the phone, her trembling fingers touching her daughter's face. "My child, I miss you so much. The kids here threw me such a big party." On the other end, Lone was sobbing too. She thanked Jack Tien and the neighbors for taking care of her aging mother during the days she couldn't be there. The party continued through tears and smiles. Neighbors gathered, serving each other spring rolls and chicken. Village camaraderie, being there for each other through thick and thin, shone more beautifully than ever. Watching Aunt Bin's toothless but radiant smile, Tien felt a lightness in her heart. Her wounds seemed to have healed completely. She realized to give is to receive. Bringing joy to others is also a way to warm your own heart. Ladies and gentlemen, the story of Aunt Bin's birthday closes a long, emotional day for Jack and Tien. From worry, hardship, and doubt, they have found their way back to life's core value, love. This winter, Aunt Bin won't be cold anymore. Not just because of the down jacket, but because she knows she is not alone. And for Tien, she has truly integrated, truly become an indispensable part of this warm, extended family. But will this peaceful life last forever? Or are there more challenges waiting for them ahead? Stay tuned for the next episodes. Thank you for listening. wishing you a good night and warmth with your family. Goodbye, and see you next time.